وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. We started the last time at the Battle of Badr, and where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ camped in a place called Al-Udwat al-Dunya, and this is nearby the entrance of Medina, closer to Medina. And the disbelievers camped in a place called Al-Udwat al-Quswa, and they did not meet yet. And the Muslims were looking for the best location, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ consulted with them until they choose the best location. And Sa'd ibn Mu'adh asked the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't want you to join the fighting since this is the first battle between us and the disbelievers, and as you see, their number is a big number and they outnumber us. I want you to be in a commanding place far away from the army. So he suggested to build a arish for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, like a place as a tent or anything on the top of the mountain, so that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, or in a high place, so the Prophet can see the battle going on, and he will give commands, to the believers. And he himself, Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, chose a group of the Sahaba fighters to surround the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and to guarantee his protection. And he said to him, if we are killed in the battle, then you can go back to Medina. You're going to find our brothers who did not join the fighting, because since they don't know that there is a big battle like that, and the Prophet made it optional. So you can continue the da'wah and the fighting, supported by our brothers. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ accepted that from him. But as we're going to see during the battle, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went down and he joined the Muslims after that. So the Prophet made the plan, and he told the Muslims who's going to be in the front, who's going to be in the back, who's going to be in the right side, left side. He put the plan perfect, and he said, wait until you the command to start, the battle. At that time, the disbelievers were also discussing, shall we go and attack or shall we come back? And they sent someone to discover the area to see, around if the Muslims had more support coming or not. So he went around, he found that the army of the Muslims, this is what it is. He said the number is, around 300. It could be more or less. So they knew the number. But he gave them an advice. This man was a smart man from the disbeliever side. Said, don't look at this number as a little number. 300, yes, we are 1,000. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Those people are trapped here. They don't have any support coming to them. So no one is going to be killed from their side, unless at least he kills another man from our side. So if we're gonna lose 300, 1/3 of our army, that's a big loss. And especially the army has all the chiefs of Mecca and all the big names. So he said, I don't recommend you to fight. You got your money, everything's good, let's go back. And there is one guy who was killed in Seerah that happened before Seerah Abdullah ibn Jahsh, one of the Sahaba. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sent him in a small group that was before the Battle of Badr, and they found one of the disbelievers and they killed him. So his tribe is coming to the war to take revenge for that man. So he said, one of them, he was a wise man, he said, let me, and this Utbah ibn Rabi'ah or Shayba ibn Rabi'ah, one of them, he said, let me pay for the blood money for this man. I will pay from my pocket money for his family and convince them to go back. But go talk to Abu Jahl. This is, one of the top leaders who bring the army in the first place. If you convince him, then we'll go back. And they wish that, they can solve it. A lot of discussion going on. So they told Abu Jahl about it. He said, oh, now you're afraid of the magic of Muhammad when you come here? Well, I'm going to go back until Allah judges between us and him. And Allah ashames the one who are wrong. He thinks that he's right. So, and he told the brother of the guy who was killed before from the disbeliever side, look, they want to give up the blood of your brother. So the man went crazy. And he came in the middle of the people, he started screaming like a woman, no, and the blood of my brother, this and that. And he did crazy stuff. So there is no time for discussion or negotiation now. Then they insisted to start the war. They started the war, and most of them were not happy with that. So at that time, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prepared the army, and he was making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to support them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the ayat in Surah Al-Anfal that we read in Salat al-Fajr today. إِذْ يُوحِي رَبُّكَ إِلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ أَنِّي مَعَكُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed to the malaika, to the angels, that I'm with you. فَثَبِّتُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Make the believers steady in the battlefield. Make their hearts not to be afraid. سألقي في قلوب الذين كفروا الرعب. And in return, Allah Azza wa Jal will throw the horror and the fear inside the hearts of the disbelievers. فاضربوا فوق الأعناق, cut their necks, واضربوا منهم كل بنان, and kill them. So the Malaika came 1,000, as the surah says, أني ممدكم بألف من الملائكة مردفين. The 1,000 of the Malaika will come, a group after another, a group after another. They're not going to come one shot. Madad, like support. This is a supply. So they came in the battle and they supported the Muslims. However, there is an argument between the scholars or the historians, Muslim historians. Did the Malaika actually fight and kill the disbelievers? Or the job, as the Quran referred, was just to make the hearts of the Muslims steady and to make them more brave. Some will go with this opinion and some will go with that opinion. But this is not our discussion now. Since every group has its own proofs, it's a long discussion. I wouldn't talk about that for now. But anyway, Allah Azza wa Jalla knows the best. So they started the battle. And the first thing that started from the battle, that was one man from the disbeliever. His name is Al-Aswad ibn Abd al-Aswad al-Makhzumi. This man was a really tough man. He is a great warrior. Nobody stands him. And he has very, very bad manners, So this man came out and he said, I swear by God, I will go to the well of Badr. This is the well that the Muslims camp besides it to block the disbelievers from drinking so that they pressure them to go back, okay? He said, I swear by God that I'll go to this right now in front of all of them. I'll break into it and drink from it, or I die before I reach it. So this man went, and the one who went out for him to fight him, they're not going to surround him, all of them, because this is the manners of the Arab, a man for a man. So the first one who met him was Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Hamza was like the same age like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they are brothers from, the milk, as foster brothers. So Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib met him and they fought, and Hamza cut his leg from the middle, that the blood started to gush out of the leg. So the man fell from his horse and he did not stop. He started crawling to go to the well to drink from it, to keep his word. But once he threw himself in the well to drink, Hamza cut his neck with the sword at the last moment. Subhanallah. And that was in front of their eyes, so that was the big defeat for them. The first fighting, as you see, that was a habit from the old time, even before the Arabs. You see, if you hear about the historians, about the Romans and other people, man to man, before the battle starts. So that was something bad. So they still said, we're going to send some individuals to fight before we start the battle. So they brought 3 men from their side, and not normal men. Those are like from the top leaders of Quraysh at that time. Those are Utbah and Shaybah, his brother, and his nephew Al-Walid ibn Utbah. So the man Utbah and his son Al-Walid, and Shaybah, the brother of Utbah, the uncle of Al-Walid. So those 3 were from the chiefs of Mecca at that time. They went out, they say, we want to fight 3 men from your side. So 3 young men from Ansar volunteered to go out and fight them. But they say, who are those people? Name yourself for us so that we know you. So they named themselves, said, you are good warriors and everything, but we want from our people, from the people of Mecca. See? Because this is like thar, taking revenge back. So they said, fine. The Prophet said, fine, get back. And he sent 3 other warriors from Mecca. Then the Prophet Muhammad said, قُمْ يَا عُبَيْدَ بْنِ الْحَارِثِ عُبَيْدَ بْنِ الْحَارِثِ قُمْ يَا حَمْزَةَ, stand up, Ya Hamza. قُمْ يَا عَلِي, Ali ibn Abi Talib. So 3 of them went out and they started to fight with those 3. Each one got one. They say that Ubaidah, this is the oldest one from those Sahaba. Ubaidah was old man, but Hamza and Ali were young men. Ubaidah went for Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, and he's an old man like him. And Hamza got Shaybah, and Ali got Al-Walid. Since Ali is the youngest, he went with the youngest, Al-Walid. So 3 of them, Hamza and Ali, didn't give any time or any space. They killed the 2 other guys quickly. They finished their job. But Ubaidah and the other man, Shaybah, Utbah and Utbah, they kept fighting each other. They injured each other badly. So the two other brothers, Ali and Hamza, they helped Ubaidah to finish the guy. They finished the guy, and they took their brother and went back to the Muslim camp. And subhanAllah, he was badly injured. After 3 days from the battle, they took him back and everything to Mecca. But after 3 days, he died, or 4 days. Subhanallah. Anyway, after they lost the second fighting, the disbelievers, they got mad. So Abu Jahl said, let us attack them one time, one shot. So the Prophet gave commands to the Muslims, if they attack, you don't attack. Wait till they come closer enough to be targeted by your arrows, so throw the arrows. And after that you can use the spears. Don't fight with the swords until they come really to your place. So they followed the plan of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. They killed some of them by arching them, and when they come closer, they started to fight them with swords. This is how the war is. It's rounds. They attack you until you start to make them calm down, they lose their power, and then you start your counter attack. So the Muslims kept fighting against them until they get really tired. Then the Prophet gave the command, now you go attack them. Chase them and attack them. So the Muslims started, attacking them so hard until they started to win over them, and they started actually to run away from in front of their faces. Even when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave the command to attack, he said, قُومُوا إِلَى جَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Go to the Jannah, that its width is the heavens and the earth. If you put the heavens and the earth together, this will be the width of the Jannah. How about the length, which is taller? Allah Azza wa Jal knows the best how it is, So you cannot imagine how big it is. So when one of the Sahaba, that's Umayr ibn al-Humam, heard that sentence from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, said, Bakhin bakh, which means woe, woe. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said to him, ما حملك على أن تقول هذا? Why are you saying that? He wants to know what he means by that. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, the only reason I said that I wish to be one of the people of Jannah. That's my intention. He said, you are one of the people of Jannah. So the man got some dates, he put it in his head. They put that in the head because the battle could last for hours and hours. So you want to get some food to eat it and get more power during the battle. So he wanted to eat 2 of them to get more power, and then after he ate one, he said, if I live to finish my dates, that will be a long life. And he threw the dates and he took the sword and went, kept fighting until he was killed. Subhanallah, because he had sincere intention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fighting kept going on. A lot of people from the disbelievers were killed. Now it's evident that they are losing. Even the shaitan was coming there in a form of a man, Suraq ibn Malik. When he saw that they are being defeated, he ran away, and they called him, where are you going? You told us that you're going to support us and fight with us. He said, Inni ara ma la tarawna. I see what you don't see. He sees the malaika. Inni akhafullah. I'm afraid of Allah. Wallahu shadidul aqab. And he kept running until he got to the seaside and he jumped in the sea. So go away. So at that time, Abu Jahl, the leader of the disbelievers, tried to show himself as a tough, although he sees that, they are losing. He said, don't be scared of the people who are killed. We have to kill double the numbers. And I want you to take prisoners of war as much as you can from the Muslims, not just kill them, so that we show them the torture before we kill them. He's trying. And he's surrounded by a group of, the fighters. Until his moment came. This man. He's going to be killed in the same battle that he is, leading. And he's telling the people to fight. So his moment came. At that moment, when he was surrounded by a lot of, fighters, including his son, to protect him, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf is telling the story how he is killed. Because this is not just a normal guy. He said, I was in the line, because the Muslims are in lines and they're fighting, as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, bought them. And Allah Azza wa Jal said in Surah As-Saff, if you remember, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِهِ صَفًّا. Allah Azza wa Jal loves those who fight in His cause in lines. So Abdul Rahman ibn Auf said, I'm in the line. When I look in my right and I look in my left, I'm not feeling comfortable. Why? Because he said, I see boys who are so young. One of them is like 13 and the other one is 14. They have no experience with war. That means I'm not secured. He needs, strong warriors on his side to protect him, because he could be killed and somebody come to him, But if you are secured from both sides, then you can fight in front of you. He said, I didn't feel good about it. But I was surprised when the one on my right came to me and whispered in my ear, my uncle, as I respect to him because he's older, can you tell me who's Abu Jahl? Because since the boy from Ansar, from the people of Medina, he has never seen Abu Jahl before. And the other one on the left was from the Medina young boys also, he never seen Abu Jahl before. So he said, why are you asking about him, my son? He said, because I heard that he's cursing the Prophet Muhammad and I want to kill him today. So please, when you see him, just point at him for me. I said, okay. I was surprised, unexpected. Then after 1 minute, the other guy on my left came whispering in my ear the same thing. I said, okay, I'll tell you about him. So they come to the battle with the intention to kill Abu Jahl. Not just a normal man, and they're not scared of it. So he said, well, I was fighting, and then I saw Abu Jahl in front of me, a little bit far away. Then I looked at them both and said, you see that man surrounded by the people there? That's Abu Jahl. They said, thank you. And they went quickly to him. That's it. Although he's surrounded by a lot of warriors, they went quickly to him, and they kept fighting there, the group around him, until they managed to kill him and they. Subhanallah. And they came to the Prophet Muhammad running. Said, Prophet of Allah, we killed Abu Jahl. Everyone is killing. They say, no, I'm the one who killed him. The other one, actually, they hit him. Both of them was the swords at that time. But they don't know which one killed him, actually. So the Prophet Muhammad said to them, did you wipe your swords after you kill him? They said, no. So he said, show me the swords. When he looked, they said, you killed him. That's Mu'adh ibn Amr ibn Jamah, because the blood is more. The sword was deeper. The other one hit him, yes, but it didn't go that deep. Mu'adh ibn Amr ibn Jamuh, that's the one that the Prophet said he did it. And Mu'awwid ibn Afra, that's the one who helped him. And at that time, when they were reaching him, and another narration says that they were reaching him, and the people around him started to scream, this is your leader, don't leave him. So they started to protect him, but it didn't work, because when those two young men went, a lot of Muslims went as well. So they started to fight the guards, and those two young men, kept running after Abu Jahl. So in the beginning, they hit him with a sword, so they cut half of his feet, of his leg, with the feet, and it went out like as if you're chopping, one seed of dates. When you chop it with a knife and you cut it into two halves like this. So the man was screaming, and his son tried to help him, Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, but he couldn't do it. So they still went to him and they killed him. Subhanallah, he was thrown on the battlefield on the ground, and they left him, and when they went to the Prophet Muhammad. At that moment came Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. That is the Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, one of the Sahaba, were very weak in the body. He's very thin. And he used to be tortured by this man Abu Jahl a lot. He used to torture him to death. So he came to him. At that moment, he was not dead yet. He was dying. And then he stand on his chest. And he said, هل أخزاك الله يا عدو الله? Didn't Allah shame you, oh, you enemy of Allah? He says, وهل أنا إلا رجل من قريش قتلتموه? I'm just a man that you killed. The guy is saying at his last moment. He said, I will kill you right now. He said to him. So he said, you used to torture me, I will get the honor to kill you. He said, لقد ارتقيت مرتقا صعبا يا رواعي الغنم. Oh, little shepherd of sheep, you climbed over me. That's a big climb that you made. He was saying to him. So at that moment, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud cut his neck. He wants to participate in it. He's already finished and he's dying, but he did it. And he went to the Prophet Muhammad told him about that. So the Prophet Muhammad said, أذن بأذن والرأس زيادة. An ear for an ear, and the head is extra, because he cut his ear before when he was torturing Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. You see, he was saying that to make him feel good, because this man really tortured him a lot. So that was a sign that they lost the battle totally. So they started to run everywhere, and they didn't know what to do until they grouped but far away from the battlefield place, and then they were in shock. What can we say to our people after we go back to them? That we just got defeated like that by an army that's much less than us? They didn't know what to do. Even everyone felt, it's better to go late. Let the others go first and then I go late. they don't know how to face their own people. But at the end, they went, and the Prophet Muhammad took the Muslims, they buried them, and they took the bodies of the kuffar in one of the deserted wells. It's a big, deep hole. So they put the bodies, all the bodies down there, and they covered it, bury it also as kind of honoring, the dead people. A lot of situations happen in the battle, but inshallah Azza wa Jal, we might continue that next time. Inshallah, jazakumullah khairan, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barik ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.